So, once again, we are having here an episode on an ideas.seths.com article. And I actually started something yesterday, but yeah, anyway, we're gonna go through this article, and the article is titled, "Don't Have a Single Purpose or Passion, ? That's okay." And yeah, I think it really ties into the whole concept of, which I'm actually relatively often thinking about, of we are just beating ourselves up and judging ourselves and whatnot way too fucking much. Like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing that? Why? I should be doing this. I should be doing that. But in the end, it's like, really? Yeah, so this article is written by Cleo Wade, Cleo and Wade, and it was published on the 14th of December 2020, so it is a fairly new article. And I also like the illustration by Evelyn Norvo. But yeah, this post is part of TED's How to Be a Better Human series, each of which contains a piece of helpful advice from people in the TED community. Browse through all the posts here. Yeah, and I'm gonna start reading. People will tell you to find your purpose. They will tell you to find your passion, and I'm honestly not sure about that. We are all such multi-layered beings with an abundance of gifts, talents, interests, and also ideas. Why are we putting the pressure on ourselves to have one purpose or one passion? We all grow and shift so much in our lifetime. Who's to say that your purpose in your 20s isn't going to evolve into something else in your 30s, 40s, 50s, and beyond? I have never really felt like I had just one purpose, and attempting to live life like I did always felt stressful and inauthentic. Instead of concentrating my energy on one purpose or passion, I try to focus my energy on what it looks like to bring passion and purpose to everything I do. I do this by asking myself, what type of kindness, care, joy, and patience must I harness in order to bring purpose and passion to my relationship with myself and those around me? What level of openness and curiosity must I own in order to bring meaning to jobs and tasks in my life, even or especially the roles that don't spark an immediate sense of excitement within me? I don't know anyone who hasn't had jobs that they didn't like on the way to finding the job they do like. I'm definitely one of these people or those people. I have babysat, sold t-shirts with photos of crawfish and hot sauce on them to tourists in my hometown, worked in fashion and as an office manager. None of these jobs were meant for me, but as I went to work answering the phone or pinning a dress, I still tried my hardest to remain curious. Even on the days where all I wanted to do was pretend to be sick and have a Gilmore Girls marathon with my roommate, Molly, I would conjure whatever inner strength I could, show up and try to continuously look for what that work experience had to teach me. In fact, I have found that during the moments of doing the things that I liked the least, it became the most important to say to myself, okay, it's easy to not like this, but what can I learn from it? Which I, by the way, think is an amazing question in general, like also situations that you might not like. Asking yourself what you can learn from them is just definitely going to shift how you see the whole situation, how you see the whole scenario that you're finding yourself in. It becomes something way less, well, I wouldn't necessarily say painful. It's still going to be painful, but you kind of feel more in charge. Like, okay, what can I do with this? What can I get out of this? How can I use it? And all of those questions, they transform things. They change things. They mix up things. And I think it is just an amazing idea and also question to ask myself. I have also found that our 9-to-5 jobs do not have to be how we identify ourselves. They can be, but are not always the place we feel our greatest sense of purpose or passion. Sometimes a job is just how we pay our bills, which is absolutely fine, and there is nothing wrong with that. Some of the best advice my friend Grace's dad ever gave me, or gave us when we were struggling struggling with some of our early jobs was, don't stress about what you have to do during 9 to 5. Focus on who you are from 5 to 9. Yeah. Even though the big problem, I actually wanted to say the small problem, but I think it is a big problem that I'm having with that is that you're then essentially doing for 8 hours a day that you don't necessarily like that much. And you have to force yourself to think positively about it to make it through those 8 hours quite. Of course, I'm just overdoing it right now. It maybe isn't the case for you, and I'm very happy if this is not the case for you. Of course, there's a lot of people that don't like their jobs, and it is an incredible amount of people that don't like their jobs. But I think it is also a difference between, or there is a big difference between, I hate my job and I just don't always like it. There's a huge difference, because I would say that when you hate your job, then you should probably be doing something else. Even though you might be doing something else in between 9 to 5, so from 5 to 9. But I don't know, like it kind of feels like a waste of time to spend 8 hours, which is a massive amount of your day, also including sleeping, which you are hopefully kind of doing, to stay healthy, and so on and so on and so on. It just really is way of a big, part of your day. Like it doesn't feel that right to me. Let's maybe put it like that. If you're someone who feels like your one true passion or purpose, that is also a wonderful way to go through life, and I'm rooting for you every step of your journey. If you're not so sure, I just want you to know that it is okay. Let go of trying to identify yourself by one idea or goal. Instead, commit yourself to bringing purpose and passion into each conversation, workplace, and home space you are a part of. Cleo Waite's newest book, Hard Talk, the Journal, 52 Weeks of Self-Love, Self-Care, and Self-Discovery, is out now, so maybe you check it out. Excerpted from the book Where to Begin, a small book about our power to create big change by Cleo Waite, reprinted with permission of Atria Books, an imprint of Simon & Schuster Inc., copyright 2019 by Cleo Waite. And there is also a TED Talk by Cleo Waite, which is subtitled, Want to Change the World? Start by being brave enough to care. And yeah, I think the underlying, is it an underlying message? Wouldn't actually necessarily say so, but I think the message of the whole article, which is, don't beat yourself up, just live your life, and don't try to kind of fit into certain concepts that are quote unquote made up by society. And I would say, yeah, don't do so. I mean, it is the exact situation that I find myself in. I really often consciously think about what I want to study, because I do want to study something, which is actually per se something relatively interesting and or strange maybe, because I want to study for the sake of studying, because I want to know what it feels like to study. And this is kind of the only reason why I do want to study and why I am gonna study. Besides the whole fact that I don't know, I think it is just about the experience of it. Of course, just besides studying, I'm still gonna have the podcast, and I'm still gonna design some things, and still gonna have those few clients, design clients. Maybe I'm gonna have more. Maybe it's actually just gonna be a job, and then besides the job, I'm studying something. Like, could also be that case, but just because I just can't do one thing, and I'm actually seeing a big opportunity in studying and while studying doing something else, which is then going to be the podcast or something else, because I do think that I'm having the time. Sometimes it's a bit stressful, of course, and sometimes I might not be resting enough as I should, but I don't know, like I'm having a really big problem with sticking to one thing or seeing my whole life in one thing. Like I don't think that I should be doing this, you know. I don't think that I should be doing one thing, you know. So yeah, you know, it's definitely very difficult for me to decide what I want to study because there's so many things, so incredibly many things. But yeah, let's actually check. Let me check out what the time is saying. 10 minutes. 10 minutes is a bit too less for me. Maybe. Let's see what Seth Godin is talking about, because he's often talking about not finding your passion, but finding passion in what you're doing. So, let me rephrase that. Not doing something that you're passionate about, but, well, is it correctly? But being passionate about what you're doing. So not kind of judging, well, not deciding what you want to do according to your passions and what you like to be doing, but doing whatever the fuck that you're doing with passion. But yeah, the first one is new decisions. There's a quote, "I was wrong," isn't something you hear very often, particularly from people in power or folks who have gone out on a limb espousing a belief or espousing. It's far easier to persuade someone to make a new decision based on new information. That way, they can be right now. They can be right now, and they can also believe that they were right before. The problem with a mic drop. It's fun to say the perfect thing at the perfect time, mic drop. The problem is that when you have to bend over and pick up the microphone, conversations take more effort but tend to be worth it. The problem is that then you have to bend over and pick up the microphone. Yeah, conversations take more effort but tend to be worth it. I love conversations, and well, I love consciously communicating things. This is something that I actually really like to do, and this is also one of the reasons why I think I find lawyers and people that are educated in law very interesting, since it really is about how you use the words in contracts, in the laws of whatever state you're living in and whatnot. It's very interesting. You know, these people really have a difficult job, especially when it comes to the new corona rules and corona laws and COVID thing and whatnot. It takes a lot of thought to formulate all those things in a way that there is no way to get around things, if you know what I mean. I mean, if you're saying, okay, you shouldn't be doing this, then you have to formulate in a way that there's no singular way and no singular little hole where you could just be like, well, yeah, you know, this is not what this means, and this is not standing there that I'm not allowed to do so. But yeah, I think you know what I mean, and I tremendously find that interesting. A place to write. One reason that successful and prolific singer-songwriters are prolific is that as soon as they've written a song, they can record it and publish it. And the huge advantage of having a daily blog is that the software is always open, waiting for you to write something. Your story doesn't have to be a book. It is simply your chance to make a difference. Here is what I see, so here's how you can be part of it. When we remove the finding the pen, the paper, the notebook, the software, and the post, finding a way to publish it, it turns out that we write more often, and writing more often leads to writing better. It doesn't have to be perfect, it can simply be the next thing you do. The patterns matter, streaks work. All part of your practice. I would say this as well, and I've unfortunately, very interesting. Gotta have to read that one as well. I've unfortunately dropped my habit of writing every single day, a blog post, but when I do write something, it feels pretty good. But of course, well, it got a bit difficult. And I mean, there is always reasons why you lose habits, I would say, or exchange them for different ones. But yeah, the last article that I'm willing to read is titled Seeing Differently. Here are some books for the end of the year, 50 years of ideas that have helped me understand the world differently. Gödel, Escher, Bach. Before Meta was cool, Douglas Hofstadter won a Pulitzer Prize for this intricately created examination of math, art, and music. Very interesting. Cased or Cast, my book of the year, Wilkerson helps us see how persistent and hidden the indoctrination of race and status lie in our culture, which I, by the way, think is just such an incredibly fucked up thing. That it is so just, indoctrinated. Understanding Comics, another meta book and a masterpiece of explanation and insight. The Red Queen, there are a ton of very cool books on evolutionary theory, and this one is particularly good. Knocking on Heaven's Door, Lisa Randall's explanation of physics will change the way you look at the world. Guns, Germs and Steel, or Germs, another classic. It has earned its spot in the canon, an explanation, not without controversy, of how the world ended up as it did. This is what the study of geography is actually about. The Beginning of Infinity. After you've read Randall, this book will take those ideas and expand them a lot. Impro. This book transformed the way I see human interaction and had a significant impact on the creation of This is Marketing. Impro, it reminds me on improvised theater, which at least in German is sometimes shortened with impro. What technology wants? Kevin Kelly has changed my mind over and over again, and this one is the one I think about the most often. The Ones Who Walk Away from Omelas, a short story from Ursula Le Guin, that you will never forget. Depth, an astonishing look at 5,000 years of human history by the late David Graeber. The Chess of Physics, a great book, even especially for people who think they don't like either. When Things Fall Apart, which I think I've reviewed. Each of Pema's books is special, and the audiobooks in particular, this is a fine place to start. Pema Jödron, with CHÖ, I guess, and Dron, I guess. I'm actually very unsure, but type it in and you're probably going to find it in that way. Books are an extraordinary device, transitioning through time and space, moving from person to person and leaving behind insight and connection. I'm grateful every single day for the privilege of being able to read and also write. And writing doesn't always have to take the form of books, so check out this prize-winning video. Mariam Segaye, Canada Physics Winner 2020. Actually gotta watch that afterwards. But yeah, I'm gonna end the episode there, so I wish you the best health, happiness, and all success, and also hope that you're gonna rise and you're gonna be remembered, which basically means your legacy. 3 questions, which are: why are you here? What are you trying to change? And what is bothering you the most, should be asked by yourself. If this makes sense, I don't know. Anyway. And one last idea is, what could you essentially say to another person that is indeed going to change their life? Because I believe that we all can say something. And with that being said, gonna end the episode. So bye-bye. Have a nice day. And please take care.